Welcome to the Casual Nerdcast. I'm your host, Justin. Joining us for this evening, Uraz.
Cheers.
Thank you for our fellow emergency correspondent who is filling in for Evan this evening.
Again, he's basically our what's the word?
Emergency correspondent. He is.
He's the dude who shows up all the time.
Yes. Also joining us, Amel.
Now with 100% less hair on both sides.
This is like 3 months old. This hair.
100%.
Yeah, that's like
Less
freaking
hair.
half the length, and this is all gone. I'm like 4 years younger.
100%. Alright then.
All right. And last but not least, Andrew.
The Pitch Perfect 2 trailer came out, and it's the best thing you'll see.
Like, oh my god.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Would watch again.
Yeah.
Just the trailer.
Yeah.
All right. So last week we played a bit of a podcast game. Well, it was more like we filmed it earlier because none of us were available. But you guys don't have to know that. So we missed a lot. So to kind of catch you guys up, we've also been playing a lot of the games that have been coming out. So before we get on to that, let's start from the very beginning of what we missed. A really big event that had happened recently, Blizzcon. And to kind of start pitching off about Blizzcon, let's talk about Blizzard's new IP, Overwatch. So,
Well, let's talk.
Andrew, I believe you looked into BlizzCon the most, so you mind guiding us through, let's start off with Overwatch. Can you guide us through Overwatch?
It's like
Unless everything.
League of Legends meets Team Fortress 2. Except there's not as much League of Legends in it. And it's mostly Team Fortress 2.
It's League of Legends and Team Fortress 2 without the League of Legends.
But
Nice.
it's like League of Legends or Dota because everyone has like special like abilities, I think. Like Q, W. No, not W because that's your WASD. You have like special abilities and you can shoot and you can I don't know, it just looks really cool. It's like a lot of
So, like Smite?
kind of except it's less like a MOBA because there aren't like minions. It's just PvP. And you got
Alright.
I think it's 6v6, Justin, am I correct?
It looks like that's the case.
I think
There's
so.
a gorilla. There's a talking gorilla that wears glasses named Winston in that game.
Yeah, I saw the
Amazing.
trailer. The trailer was amazing. I like how I love the style that Blizzard brings to the games. Like that arcadey / realistic style. Not a lot of games have that fun aspect to it. They either go too hardcore on the serious side, like too realistic, and they miss out on the fun aspect.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where it's from my perspective, obviously, and it's it's very opinionated. You get something like Battlefield, and it's like very much as realistic as you can get. And and if something goes wrong, it's like completely breaks the realism into it. And you're just like, ah.
Yeah.
And then you have something like Borderlands, where it's like completely opposite end of the spectrum. It's like almost like a cartoon. And
Saints Row.
Saints Row, it's a satire. It's not even. It's
That's what it means, though. It's one step above.
it knows it's a game,
Right,
Like
right.
whereas other games, not like some games. I don't know about Borderlands. Borderlands it's half. It's sometimes it knows it's a game because it has a lot of pop culture references and this kind of stuff. But then also at other times it tries to be serious. So
It's its own world.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's.
Saints Row is like
But off topic. I'm talking about just the way the graphics are done. I find that Blizzard's style is usually something in between. Like it's not like it's realistic enough that's like, oh, okay, that's a very interesting world, but not to the point that it's like the moment realism breaks in this game, it's like I'm lost out of it. It's like even if glitches happen in any of the Blizzard games that I've played, it's kind of like, oh, okay, I kind of remember it's a game and it's more forgiving. Whereas if it's like in a much more realistic game, it's just like, ugh. So it's.
I have a question for Andrew regarding Overwatch, and is it gonna be in like totally separate lore, nothing to do with Warcraft?
Yeah,
Their own
yeah. I
branding
think
characters.
I wasn't at BlizzCon or anything, but from what I've seen, like it's a separate. It's actually what Titan was supposed to be. Like Titan
Oh.
got canceled. We talked about that MMO being canceled, and it sort of morphed into this thing from what I read in an interview. And it's like it's not based in World of Warcraft or StarCraft or anything. They actually have their own like Blizzard MOBA that they're I think betaing or something.
I think what would be really freaking cool was if you could play those Warcraft characters, like
But
in the game.
but that's more so Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, they have that game.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
What? Wait.
That exists, man.
There's a Blizzard MOBA.
It's their Dota, but when Dota was stolen from them,
Yeah.
or something.
I kid you not. There's basically StarCraft heroes, Warcraft
All over the
heroes,
place.
all the Blizzard universes all combined.
Diablo character.
Diablo
Yeah.
character.
They're
that's the
literally
thing.
called Demon Hunter,
First person?
No, it's a MOBA.
just generic
No,
MOBA.
Overwatch is a
No,
first person.
That's no. I'm talking about like this in Overwatch. If you could play those characters.
No, you're
in a
completely
first-person
different. It's a
game.
completely
it's a-
different world.
It's a new IP, right? That's why it's like a risk they're taking. They haven't done it in like what 17 years or something.
Yeah.
That is why I was really interested in this this game, just because it doesn't end in craft. Good job.
True.
And it's like completely out of Blizzard's comfort zone, and I think that's where Blizzard kind of recognizes that. I was actually not impressed with Blizzard as a company overall for the past while, just because it sounds like they've been kind of spitting out iterations of the same thing, just graphical updates, they were very conservative with their games. And I was actually pretty close to like making a video ranting about how StarCraft is not very innovative, and how like Blizzard is just kind of very conservative, and they're just out to, I guess, make money. I guess you can call it. But now I'm glad I didn't make that video, because I take all of it back. Overwatch is complete evidence that I am wrong.
Did any of you guys watch the recent 10-year anniversary World of Warcraft documentary?
No, I haven't.
They actually released a World of Warcraft documentary, and it goes through actually a lot of history about Blizzard themselves. Obviously, the documentary was made by them, but it's really interesting to see the origins of Blizzard and all the guys who've been there for like 20, 30 years, who started off from college.
Oh man.
And to see how they evolved, creating StarCraft, Warcraft. And then obviously they talk a lot about World of Warcraft for the past 10 years, but it was an interesting documentary. You guys should check it out.
What's it called?
Let me look at the name. It was really recent. One
You
second.
can maybe link it in the description if you want.
I will link it in the description below.
Yeah.
The moment your ad sends it, I will add it in.
But yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, Overwatch looks cool. This is the thing about like Overwatch is that I'm actually terrible at first-person shooters. TF2 is like the most intimidating thing for me to like even try and play even with friends. But like I want to sort of check this out. It's very. I think it could be cool. It's got a lot of. I can see a lot of strategy in it from the different characters. Also, you can like change your classes, your character on the fly, like in TF2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty. It looks pretty cool.
Don't worry, Andrew. I'll hold your hand.
You can try it out. Yeah, I wanna try it out. It looks really cool.
All right.
There's a lot
let's check this out.
So that's the link. It's called World of Warcraft Looking for Group.
Yeah.
That's the name of the documentary. It's like an hour long, but it was interesting. Obviously, it's from Blizzard's point of view and everything, but it's a good recap of all the World of Warcraft history, as well as some of Blizzard's history as well.
I saw the name the other day and I thought it was a parody, so I didn't click it.
No, it's an actual documentary, like
Oh, that's pretty cool.
production quality and everything. Yeah.
Okay, sounds
Oh, it's
good.
by the official YouTube channel and everything. Neat.
Yeah.
Worth
All right.
checking out for sure,
One-
especially if you're a World of Warcraft fan.
One
like
part
I
that
am.
kind of threw me off a bit when I first heard about Overwatch was Blizzard's second foray into a shooter, or I guess a first-person shooter.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone remembers StarCraft Ghost.
Yeah.
Ages ago, which was a spectacular failure and was then canceled. And yet, StarCraft at the time was the biggest RTS, and I mean, technically still is, more or less. But StarCraft was huge. Warcraft had just come out, and it was gaining traction already. And then StarCraft Ghost came out, and I was like, what the hell happened? Kind of reminded me of Command & Conquer's Renegade, except Renegade actually released.
And Renegade was actually good.
Yeah, but then nobody played it. Renegade I really enjoyed, mostly because, hey, nostalgia, and it's actually fun to play, but it didn't have a player base. StarCraft could have had that player base. Well, it was a single player game for a while.
I don't know if they would have had that player base. It's very hard to find players that are multi-genre. You find that players either really enjoy first-person shooters or RTSs. I tend to not find, people that are versatile.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to say that, maybe that's also the reason why the Overwatch may succeed over maybe something like StarCraft Ghost, so that way they're exactly, it's like a completely new completely new kind of base, because with the StarCraft name, it's just like, oh, it's just an RTS, and it kind of like tarnishes the name for people who want to look for an FPS experience.
I can see that. Yeah, I can totally see that. Particularly since StarCraft Ghost, I think, was only launched on, or half launched on, GameCube or something, which has nothing to do with strategy gaming at all. Like,
yeah,
most people who owned a PC for StarCraft at that time probably didn't care for a GameCube.
Yeah, so
speculate.
But like, also, you can't just be like, oh, this is a first-person shooter, and StarCraft Ghost was the first. Like, the historical context is completely different. Like,
No,
this
that's
is
true.
they're releasing it on their own thing. Like,
Absolutely.
StarCraft Ghost was just full of leaks, and it was just development hell. And apparently, this thing is
Right.
This is off. This is already flying. They have like beta builds working, and
Oh, yeah.
now they're just taking signups.
And back then, E3 wasn't nearly as big. I don't even know if E3 existed back then. But like, my point was simply, that's the only thing that would make me possibly apprehensive, and even then I have high hopes for the game. That's kind of what the point I was getting to, but we got kind of caught up talking about StarCraft Ghost instead, and then Renegade, because we do that. Casual.
Command and Conquer.
Sure.
We always gear up because of Command and Conquer.
True. Justin and I have a thing. Yeah, my point was basically, even though they did that was, well, for one, that was 10 years ago, and for two, I don't think that's going to stop them, because like you said, it's been massively successful already. Everyone's talking about it, and it looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
And plus the whole new IP thing, so it won't really deter anyone, as Justin was saying. So
Yeah,
it should be something cool.
I think the issue is going to be more so the fact that a lot of people are just kind of declaring as like a TF2 knockoff. That's what I've been seeing. A lot of people are saying they're not impressed. It's just another TF2 or whatever. But like, something about TF2 doesn't really incline to me. Like, sure, the only class that kind of sticks out for me in TF2 is the engineer and the medic. Everything else just kind of like gobbles it. I don't know.
It's a generic shooter, otherwise.
Yeah, like so I like Overwatch in the sense that, like, because it feels more different, it looks more different, and
Well, the objective format is completely different too. Like Team Fortress 2
exactly.
doesn't have a MOBA mode; it only has like capture the flag and deathmatch and stuff, right?
Yeah, and also there's the added abilities. So like I remember the one character you actually have, like, you're blinking around through the entire map and you're like flying around and stuff. And so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I have high hopes for it. Looks cool.
Can't wait to see
I
how
have high hopes for it, but at the same time, it's from my perspective, it's not like I saw Overwatch and I'm like, holy shit, I want to play this game. It's so awesome.
Fair
Like,
enough.
yeah, this looks nice, interesting. All right, I'll try it.
Yeah, but I'm the same way though. Actually, I think
It's
Justin's
not
the same way too.
Yeah, like it's yeah. I mean, like, very few games. Okay, that's not true. So there's a handful of games that make me go, oh my god, like this is something I have to play. Chances are, I know nothing about the game and it's on my pre-order list. That's usually how that ends up.
Right.
But like Overwatch is something it's more so I'm interested. I'm proud of Blizzard. It's more so for me, the significance of Overwatch is on a company standpoint rather than the game itself. I'm sure the game will do great. I'm sure the game is fun, but I may or may not play it, might try it, may not get attached to it, but I'm glad Blizzard is willing to kind of step out of their comfort zone and move on as a company and try something new and actually launch something successfully and hopefully, compete with the other free MMOs out there. Or not MMOs, that's not the right word to use. I don't know what do you even call TF2? Something of that genre.
Just those free games.
Not just the free game, on the orange box.
It didn't used to be free.
What? No, it is free now. It didn't used to be free.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I misheard.
But TF2 is just a first-person shooter. It's like Counter-Strike, except there's some more team aspects to it, with different classes and obviously the hats. It's all about the hats.
Oh God, yeah, it's about the hats, man.
Yeah, it's all about the hats.
It's
Anyways,
the first
let's
hat simulator.
let's move on before we start talking about hats.
What's wrong with talking about hats, bro? What you gotta hate?
Hat simulator.
We're not a hat podcast, man.
The casual hat cast.
We're Hatcast, the Hatcast.
Okay, you can switch.
All right, moving on. So, also at BlizzCon, finally, Legacy of the Void.
That what it was called? Huh.
So, Andrew, how much did you hear about Legacy of the Void?
I've heard it's a standalone game, so that means it's gonna be expensive than Heart of the Swarm. And
sorry, Andrew, wasn't Heart of the Swarm also standalone?
I think you had to have StarCraft's Wings of Liberty to play.
Okay. Sorry, continue. I wanted to clarify.
Hard form. Yeah, you're right. It's an expansion, not standalone. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, go ahead.
And to be honest, StarCraft is I actually really like the story in that game too. So I don't really care about news about it until it comes out. But it's the Protoss story, which is the story a lot of people care about, and I'm really excited.
I remember Evan and I don't know how many podcasts ago we were discussing the rumors that Legacy of the Void was going to have something along the lines of Warcraft 3's hero system.
Ooh.
Was there any indication of that?
Beyond because the other two StarCraft 2s, they had especially TOTS, it would Kerrigan was your hero unit.
Yeah, except but that didn't really carry over to the multiplayer, right? That was a single player kind of thing.
Oh, in multiplayer.
If you've ever played Warcraft 3, you actually had a structure where you pumped out a hero and then they had leveling stats and all that kind of stuff too. I know Heart of the Swarm had that. I played a bit of it. I haven't gone too far into it. But
not in multiplayer.
Yeah, exactly. The way the system was implemented, it seems like they were hinting towards a full-fledged hero system incorporated into the game rather than just it in the single player. Do you...
I think if that was true, I would have heard we would have heard about it.
So it's more so. So this is just more so. They're just dropping that. Oh, this game exists. Here's a trailer. Yeah. Anything on release date?
No. It's very StarCraft. It's hey, it's coming, new units,
soon,
new story.
But there is beta. Apparently, there's a beta. I don't know. I don't think I qualify for the beta. I'd rather let the hardcore StarCraft players actually properly test it.
Yeah. My APM is 3. Drone.
Probably 2 more than mine.
Drone.
That's it. You've done your actions for the minute.
Yeah. But I love that series. I was actually thinking about StarCraft the other. Do you remember watching the cutscenes in StarCraft 1?
They were, yeah.
Because I distinctly remember being oh my god, video games will never look better than this.
What game was I thinking of? I was saying the exact same. Oh shoot, what game was that?
Now you go back and it's 3 pixels.
Yeah.
My comparison, Andrew, at the time was Red Alert 2, and they had they had
yeah.
full live action acting, and I was this is cool. And then I saw StarCraft CGI from 1997, and I was this is cooler.
Yeah.
Because one's a Hollywood movie, the other is at the time a masterwork of art, right? We did the same thing again with Diablo 2. I don't know if anyone played Diablo 2. Those cutscenes were really something.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what? How is this? How is this happening?
Just a nostalgic moment when I was watching like BlizzCon stuff. I thought that was funny.
I
Yeah.
remember. Okay, this is gonna be pretty embarrassing. I remember when I was first a kid. I remember playing. Have you guys ever played Populous: The Beginning?
No idea what that is.
Okay. So Populous: The Beginning is Populous overall is a franchise about like you basically control like a god, or you control like a prophet who obtains magical powers through a god. I remember looking at that grass and the way that the people were building up those buildings. Yeah, it's an RTS where you can't control your workers.
Yeah.
You inspire
I
them.
can see that.
Yeah,
I'm looking at screenshots now, and
Yeah.
this is probably how I felt when I was playing fucking Age of Mythology.
Like,
This
yeah.
is amazing. I can rotate in all 4 directions.
Yeah. I remember doing the twisters. I'm like, wow, those twisters.
Oh,
That
like the
lightning, the fire, holy crap, that looks
Yeah.
all so real. I played it recently. Oh my god. My favorite thing about like playing old classic games is how they relied on your CPU lag to control the game speed. So if you're playing on like an i7 and you're playing like Tiberian Sun, the entire game is like 5 times as fast as it used to
Exactly
be.
the example I was going to give.
Oh my god. Tiberian Sun, I still remember. Oh my god, blew my mind. Oh, this game is amazing.
You go back on it and you're like, wait, what am I doing? And the next second, the AI is already at your base. Like, what? Shit, I didn't do anything yet.
I used to like 1v1 like hard without much trouble, and now I can't even 1v1 normal because they get to my base too fast and I can't control everything.
At least Red Alert 2 has a slider where if you set it to the slowest, it'll at least sort of behave.
Yeah,
We're getting
yeah.
sidetracked.
Yeah.
No, Command and Conquer, we do that.
So yeah.
So big news: StarCraft probably going to be successful.
Probably a good
What makes
selling
you
game,
think that?
best selling game. Can't say it's the best selling game of the year because GTA is gonna take that probably. Well,
Yeah,
unless it comes out 3 years from now.
there'll be some new units. There'll be some old ones.
Yes.
There'll be
What
at
are,
least
what are
one
you
extra
guys?
that's
Is
gone.
there anything you guys are looking forward to for Legacy of the Void?
Heh. That's my response.
Just that I'm just curious about that story. I actually really like this.
I'll do that too.
Zelnagas, the hybrids. Ooh.
Yeah, the Protoss storyline was always my favorite.
What about you, Raz?
I still haven't finished the first. Well, I haven't finished Heart of the Swarm either.
Me either.
Yeah, neither have
So
I.
yeah, I would first need to finish those two to before I even talked about Legacy of the Void.
Nah.
Fair enough.
Spoilers, man. There's gonna be a Protoss story. I don't know if I should have told you that.
Well, I mean, the expansion is already implying, like, even way before when they first announced StarCraft
I know.
2, they already announced the name of the
I know,
expansion.
I'm just being silly. Yeah,
Yeah.
the story looks exciting. I don't know what happened in Heart of the Swarm yet, but I saw the ending of Wings of Liberty, and I was like, I need more. Even though I don't give a shit about multiplayer in StarCraft,
Yeah.
like I couldn't care less.
Yeah, StarCraft multiplayer for me, I mean, it takes a special person who would really get into that, you know.
And this is coming from an avid like RTS gamer, and both myself and Justin. I just no.
I'm not good at anything anymore. I turned myself from like
Right, you put it like that.
I'm like a balance player now. I'm like I play turn based, I play first person, third person, puzzle. I play
You're not like a
everything now.
master
It's
at
gotten to a
anything.
point I'm not good at
Whatever's
anything
fun.
anymore.
That's the way. Whatever's fun, right?
Yeah,
We're gonna-
yeah. I mean,
We're all
like,
gonna get GTA 5 online. We're all gonna play it. We're all gonna get completely destroyed, even though it's all for casual silliness because we're not good at casual games anymore either.
I turned from playing RTS to like first person shooters all the like I went from basically Command and Conquer to like Titanfall and then Battlefield, and now every night I play a match of FIFA 14. What's wrong with me? All
I
right.
have the exact same thing, actually.
Huh?
Well, you play too many video games. Go read a book. Go outside.
Oh,
He doesn't have a
snap.
problem.
I don't know how
But
to
anytime he
read.
wants.
By the way, anybody who's watching this, we live in Canada, so right now the ice outside is walking frozen tundra of death.
Yeah.
At least we're not in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Remember
My
Cody?
condolences to our Buffalo fan or fans.
Fan.
Fan,
Just
fan
a-
or fans.
Remember
If they even
1844?
exist. Hypothetical fans. Our hypothetical fans.
Yeah, Justin, they probably don't have internet right now, man. What are you talking about?
Speaking of blizzards,
That's terrible. I'm sorry.
any other news come out of Blizzard?
I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't
was
followed
actually
BlizzCon. Is there
curious
anything else that we
about,
can wrap up with BlizzCon, and then we'll move on to our next
I was
topic?
curious about what came out of BlizzCon about Hearthstone. I liked Hearthstone.
There was an expansion coming out. I heard.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Gnomes and goblins.
Gnomes and goblins. Yeah, is that what yeah, that seems interesting. I mean, they just released the Naxxramas. Well, just released, which was a couple months ago.
Nah.
Yeah.
Naxxramas expansion. That was really cool. The way they did that. I
Yeah,
wonder. I'm looking forward to Gnomes and Goblins actually.
Hearthstone is great. It's like a game that's just a lot of fun to just like play for a little bit. To be honest, I think that I can see it in the foreseeable future that game becomes a bigger deal at Blizzard than like WoW does.
Why do you think that?
Because I think that they make a ton of money from microtransactions.
Oh,
Then-
fair enough.
There's just the fact that it's like on iPads and everything, and
Yeah, just a lot of people have access to it. It's just
in
Right.
WoW you have to put down that $15. You have to buy a $20 amount. It's like, oh,
Hearthstone is fully free, right? Like 100%. Except
it's
for
free,
microtransactions.
and then you'd be like, hey, I just want a pack of cards, $2. Bam.
Right.
Makes sense.
Fair enough.
All right. So, anything else come out of BlizzCon? Oh, there was also the World of Warcraft or the Warcraft movie, which I heard was fantastic. It looks fantastic. From obviously witness accounts, nobody has any online trailer or leak trailer of any kind. So, there's that to go off of.
oh, and Warlords of Draenor.
Actually,
Wow,
that's
that
yeah, that actually segues pretty interesting into our like next segment. It's kind of a very big topic because Ubisoft made really big headlines this this past 2 weeks or so. So the reason they're connected is because I wanted to briefly talk about the amount of broken games that have hit in the past 2 weeks. It's getting ridiculous. I don't know if you guys realize how bad it is, but Unity is the obvious one. Warlords of Draenor. Apparently, people were trying to get into that server. If you're if you're on a popular server, it took about 6 hours. Like worse.
But
like,
that's not like unknown. That happens every single Blizzard expansion.
I was gonna say that
But
is still
they
Blizzard,
should have
but,
known better at this point. They should have done something. Like they've released how many expansions at this point, and they're just gonna not do anything about it.
Like yeah, because it does for them. To upgrade the servers is probably more costly than just having a queue time because it only happens on launch or on the first couple days of launch where everybody's trying to play, and then it just like the curve just dies off. People just stop playing. So they can't invest in that kind of infrastructure when the long term, like there's not going to be that many people playing all the time. So so every single expansion, at least for WoW, there's a crazy queue times in the beginning.
To be fair, we saw the exact same thing with D3 and
And yeah,
Yeah, Diablo. Yeah,
Expansions
Diablo.
that
Yeah,
came out.
that's. Oh.
so it doesn't make sense for them to upgrade, infrastructure or anything just to support the first week of the game,
Yeah.
So that's why I think it happens every time. It does suck, but
Yeah, like it makes you wonder that do people just play day one and that's it and they're done with it, or like it's
well, yeah.
strange.
Actually, you know what? I know a lot of friends and a lot of people who were hyped about Worlds of Draenor, like existing WoW players. Obviously, they play it, and then the first day it hooks them. They probably play for like 12 hours, 20 hours, and then once they get to level 100, they kind of just like they're kind of just like, oh, it's just the same shit again. To get in that grind, it's fun for like the first little while to experience the new content, but then when you just realize that it's the same old WoW, a
So
lot of people just say, "Ah, shit, I'm done with this."
so it's basically
just the same
Spike. So basically, you have the extremely loyal WoW players, and then you get new expansion come out, and then like they'll be like, "Oh, I left this game for a reason, and I remember now."
Yeah,
And
it'll be like new expansion came out, then it'll be like people like curve will slowly go down back to maybe in a higher level because some people will really like it and get hooked on it.
At our university, we have there's a graph that shows how busy the gym gets throughout the year, and it's like January, February, March, all the way to December, and then January because everyone has their New Year resolution of like working out and stuff. I imagine Warlords of Draenor is probably something like that.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
But anyways, all right, I'll cut Blizzard some slack. You know what?
So yeah, I wouldn't call it a broken game.
The
like
game isn't
Unity,
broken.
Halo Master Chief Collection. The multiplayer is still not working at this point.
Ooh, really?
As far as I'm aware, yeah. As of this time of recording, yesterday they said they were gonna fix it. I haven't gotten an update yet. It's basically been broken for a week, guaranteed.
Wow.
Wait, did you get Master Chief Collection?
I wish you wanted. Are you gonna buy me an Xbox One, man?
I was gonna say that he doesn't have
Oh, shit. I'm like, why are you paying attention to that? You're like waiting for the service to come online so you can
I know.
play.
It's just the general concept that like so many games are just broken.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
we're broken.
well,
No,
like,
they're
it's,
like literally broken.
like it's
Things don't work as
it's
they
like
should.
massive. It's a massive bug. Like there's also like even GTA. Like when they first came out, they were having issues getting their So people who owned the previous game,
Yeah, the last gen.
they lost character transfers. So yeah. So when they were trying to get on GTA Online, they lost everything.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I mean, there's been a long string of problems, and
I think we talked about it like when we talked about patching a couple maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and like I think we see it more just because people are getting ready for like the Black Friday stuff, so they can't really like business wise, like when they're beholden to like your shareholders, you can't like I like in honest opinion, if Ubisoft was like privately owned, I think that Unity may have gone delayed and they would have just gone with Rogue or something like because Unity shipped and it's like pretty broken. And it's funny the first time when you see like 2 people making out and one person has no face and it's just like an eyeball and these dentures floating and it's like a really romantic scene.
I thought that was a Photoshop joke.
Yeah, but like playing through that has to be like very annoying. Like that's when you just fall through the world or.
I actually I was actually lucky. My experience with Unity, basically my desktop fits the Ubisoft demographic, which is an Intel processor with an NVIDIA graphic card, also well above the recommended. So for the most part, I was running at I was running on my 21:9 monitor, so I actually ran it on 2560 by 1080p. I couldn't run it on 1440p. But that's also due to optimization problems. I don't think I can run Far Cry 4 on like 1440p. So I don't know. It's I think it's an optimization problem on the game's end. But I ran into 3-4 bugs at most. I actually finished the game pretty smoothly for the most part.
Good.
Like bugs that happen to me on day one. If it's like if I can play through it and not mind it, then it's acceptable to me.
Yeah.
But
you seem to be in the minority apparently.
I am in a very, very large minority. Sorry, very, very, very small minority.
Large minority.
Apparently, you and the 2 other NVIDIA guys who got the game to work. Because
I feel bad now because on Twitter I was playing. Okay, I actually played the game before launch. For some reason, first of all, I got the game 2 days before release.
I remember.
And I'm just like, okay, cool. And then I install it, but then I couldn't activate my product key. They said I had to that it's not available at this time. Then I tried the next day, so I played it 5 hours before release. Actually, 5 hours before playing that game 3 hours in before release, fantastic experience. I thought it was like the best Assassin's Creed I ever played. And I went on Twitter and I tweeted, "Congratulations, Ubisoft, amazing AC Unity launch." And I was really happy. Then I read a review about how low the scores were, and I was so confused. I was like, what is going on here? And then literally when I read that review, and then it was after the release date, was when these glitches started kicking in. And I'm just like, what is going on? What happens?
Secret always on DRM, man, I'm telling you.
But I don't know. I don't know what happened. But my biggest criticism is it's like it tries to incorporate cooperative play, but there's nothing about it that requires cooperation. So, like, let's say for instance, like, if have you guys played Splinter Cell Blacklist?
No, but I've seen you play it.
That is an example of Ubisoft doing co-op properly.
Yeah.
Because there are so many instances where it's like, you get you and your buddy can mark enemies, and then you can actually shoot at the same time. There's some instances where some doors you cannot open by yourself. You actually need to get open by another buddy. Even like getting lifted up a cliff with a buddy, right? Those are things, like components that you can that enhance cooperation because it emphasizes there. Assassin's Creed Unity just has single player missions they're specifically for co-op, but it's just like it's designed like a single player mission, but your buddies can play with you, and it's probably the only reason you need cooperation is that the enemies have scaled to have more enemies. That's about it.
Yeah.
I don't see cooperative elements, and if they exist, it's very small because Dominic and I have played a lot of the cooperative missions. So yeah, I mean, Assassin's Creed it's an Assassin's Creed game with new technical powers, abilities, but nothing in the gameplay department, which is unfortunate.
But
That tends to happen to these big
Yeah,
publisher or game developers where they get into their pattern, they're making money, they just keep following the same cookie cutter pattern, just releasing, not really changing it up too much, maybe just changing it a little to keep some people happy, but obviously the reason they don't change is because the formula works. They make their money, everyone's happy, other than the game critics who will say they're not innovative. But for the majority of people, they'll be like, awesome, new Assassin's Creed, oh, I love this so much, it's so awesome.
Yeah,
everything is awesome.
it's so strange to me what Ubisoft is doing, because you see games like Rainbow Six and Splinter Cell that have evolved so dramatically from their previous iterations, and then you see games like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry 4. Okay, Far Cry 4 is literally like the best example for this.
Yeah,
I've also been playing Far Cry 4. In case you guys haven't,
You said you didn't play that much though.
I played an hour of it, and an hour of it is enough for me to say that it is an improved version of Far Cry 3.
We figured as much though, right?
Yeah, I mean that's nothing. And you know what? For most people, that's not a bad thing, because
Far Cry 2 is great.
Yeah,
you got something that works. You got a good story. You got decent character development. Why change it?
Because when you keep it for so long.
No, but obviously, I'm not talking Call of Duty levels, but like. This game is also came out 2.5 years after Far Cry 3, if I'm not mistaken.
That's true.
Right? It's not a yearly iteration like Assassin's Creed.
Not sure if you're coughing because you actually needed to cough, or
that was.
Although the Assassin's Creed games are developed by separate, like Unity was in development for like 3 years.
I know, that's fair. That's fair.
See, that's the thing that bugs me the most too. Took them 3 years. Like the thing is, I think those 3 years, it was more like a technical improvement than it was a gameplay improvement. The game is gorgeous, by the way. Like, it's lighting, shading. I remember there was a time where I was like, nothing will ever surpass the Cry engine. And then I played Medal of Honor, and I was like, wow, Frostbite. Game engine of the year. Like, it's Frostbite and Cry engine. That's it. I don't need anything else in my life. And then I started seeing the new Unreal Engine. I started seeing Assassin's Creed's whatever they're pumping out. Started seeing all these new engines and stuff, and I'm just like, oh my god, I was naive.
Even not just like how pretty it looks, like just how many people are in that game. Like just random people. Because like in Assassin's Creed, it's like, oh, hide in a crowd of 6 people. But now it's like, oh, there's 300 people on screen and 500 people that you can't see on your screen, but are going to be there.
My biggest gripe is some people are saying that the game looks nothing like Paris. And I'm just thinking to myself, have you ever watched Les Mis? Because it's honestly, Assassin's Creed Unity is literally like the set of Les Mis. Like, it's gorgeous. and like all the broken flapping French flags make it so like French Revolution, and it's just I very much enjoyed the beauty of the game. I spent more time just staring at the game than I did playing the game. Like it's like I did not like. There are a lot of games where it's like I need to fast travel. This is the one game I actually didn't mind traveling through it just so I can explore the world graphically.
To be fair, though, sorry, a bit of a tangent. I think I mentioned to you guys last time how I've been playing Skyrim a bit, right? I'm the exact same way now that I've got some graphical power. A bunch of HD texture mods, a bunch of static mesh improvements. I don't want to fast travel anymore. It's gorgeous. So I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Except you didn't need to mod it. It's just the game shipped well.
Well, I would like to mod it so I can fix all those bugs. So, but I mean,
Fair.
And then, so we also want since we're talking about like Unity, how do you feel, Justin, about like the Embos on like all these reviews? Because the big story was like Ubisoft embargoed like the reviews for the noon
right.
of that day of that
Right.
release.
So actually, that's a good segue to kind of go into. So what's his name? Total Biscuit released a video recently regarding embargoes and how like the review embargoes and how usually there's this idea that the idea that's kind of in this video is that the Ubisoft is now entering a anti-consumer mindset by having a release date for like the review embargo to be lifted after the release date. So I think that's a pretty interesting. So I'll kind of start off with. But actually, you know what? I have a pretty strong opinion. I actually had this kind of really discussed and well thought out. So before I completely change all of your minds, and then what do you guys feel about review embargoes? If at all, do you guys know what they are or anything?
I'll keep my answer simple. I don't care about them one way or the other, because I prefer to see the reviews after the game's out. I haven't pre-ordered a game in a very long time.
Yeah,
The last one was Battlefield 3, probably.
So like basically what they're saying is the argument is that I believe Unity, the review embargo lifted release date 9 a.m.
Yes.
And
It was like I think for art, like conceivably in certain areas you could have at least for like 16 hours before you if you got a chance to like hear other people's opinions
yeah.
based on time difference.
Because of the time difference, Andrew?
Yeah.
Oh,
But wait? So the review embargo does it apply to what do you mean, like everyone?
So
Yeah,
the review embargo is basically people who have been given advanced copies of the game to play the game and write a review for it, but they can't say anything or release anything
viewers.
regarding that game until even after the game's released. It all depends on the review embargo date, and some people were drawing conclusions that some publishers knew. I'm basically quoting what the video is saying, that they may have they thought that the game was poor, so in order to boost pre-order sales, they would
embargo.
exactly they would embargo it after the release date. That's the alleged theory. Whether or not you agree with this theory is another thing. So, what do you guys think?
I don't know if I would agree with it. I would just say that I wouldn't necessarily say the game they think that it's going to be bad, that's why the embargo is there. I think they just want to play it safe, even if it's awesome, even if it's bad, as long as like the sales aren't influenced one way or the other. Like you never know. Like if the reviews turn out really well, it'll do. The sales will go up. If it's bad, the sales will go down. But a big company like Ubisoft doesn't want to take that risk.
right.
Then they're going to play it safe. So the game might be awesome, but there might be some bad apples or some reviewers who don't like it or for whatever reason and give it a bad review, and it'll affect the sales.
Yeah, but that
Pretty largely. So they're just playing it safe, from my opinion.
No, I think that like because there are a lot of really smart people at Ubisoft. They're not stupid. Like they hire people to make mock reviews. Like big publishers like this hire people to make mock reviews so that they can sort of get a feel for it. And I think the reason why like they were worried about like the quality of their games because Ubisoft they do both Far Cry 4 and Assassin's Creed Unity. Never has an Assassin's Creed game been embargoed like this. Publishers are typically confident like the weekend before, like go ahead, like bring up hype, buzz up hype the weekend before, like Far Cry. The reviews came out like Friday, Saturday. I don't know the exact date, but before this Tuesday, and it's only this Assassin's Creed, this installment of the Assassin's Creed where they're like, don't say anything until X o'clock on that day.
See, this is the thing though. From my perspective, I feel that okay, this is just further evidence that, because I believe Rogue had an embargo after release date as well, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And Rogue was okay.
I think it was both of them.
I think Rogue was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Rogue.
It's
Rogue
getting
was,
higher scores than Unity is right now, I think.
See,
like on Metacritic.
This is why I'm starting to suggest that like Unity and Rogue, they were rushed.
Well,
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
but I don't think Unity was planned for release. Like, here's my theory. Basically, it's basically that Unity wasn't supposed to come out this year. I think they were because of that. Because now I'm seeing a lot of major companies, they're starting to release content or release the game a lot earlier than they had to before, because they're afraid that leaks may tarnish the game itself. Because like if you have a really poor quality camera recording, like a screenshot or something of a game, it's not a very representative of your product. And if people are using that as like as a benchmark for your product, you may lose sales or may even lose interest. So that's what I've seen, that Ubisoft has been releasing the trailers for their respective games after. Which is why, like, I feel like this entire past 2 years, this whole next generation has been rushed. Like, everything about it has been rushed. Nothing has come out properly at all.
Well, considering all the promises they made.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I feel like next gen was not ready at all. They were not ready at all whatsoever. I remember distinctively that before the February announcement by Sony, that in November there were rumored PS4s. That was it. Before that, we heard nothing about it. We heard rumors of PS4 and there was some hype. And then all of a sudden, Sony's like, shit, now we have to release something. And I think it's basically saying that they don't want their brand to be tarnished. But now, as a result, if the consoles come early, everything else that has, the console early now has to push their stuff even earlier so that they can kind of like make up for it. So that, because like a lot of those like Sony, Microsoft probably putting pressure on them, like, hey, we need games on our consoles. You're holding us up. Because now we have this new deadline and release date and stuff. So everything as a result kind of gets pushed forward. And I think that's the result of this all long list of glitchy things. And there could be a part of it that's basically saying, yes, we need to make a review embargo that is slightly after the release date so that we can push 1.1 before it comes out. But, bugs, I've dealt with bugs. They're not always, straightforward to handle. So, things get lost. 1.1 doesn't make it day one. Some bugs go slip the cracks. I'm sure a good handful of the Unity bugs the team was already aware of. They were just trying to find a way to deploy it smoothly. And the thing is, from my perspective, the review embargoes, it's like, if you're pre-ordering and you're on the fence about the game, what are you doing with your life? I don't understand you. If you're on the fence about the game and you pre-order it, why are you what? Like, I don't quite understand it. The people that are going to be buying it before the embargo are people you will not change your mind. Like you like, if you told me that like Unity was going to be like 6 out of 10, to me, I'll be like, no, I don't care. I'm still playing it. I gotta find out what happened. I need to see what happened. I need, as a podcaster, as a game reviewer, or a game video, whatever you want to call me. Like, yeah, exactly. I basically need to play everything, right? So regardless, Ubisoft is gonna get my money, and like, it's people who are cautious at buying things, they're gonna get a review. That's a given. I think it's more anti-consumer if the game doesn't get advanced copies. That would be something that's anti-consumer. But the thing is that they do have their advanced copies. They do get the reviews, and reviews will happen. At least the review embargo is still on the same day of release. Yes, there will be some people a full day's worth, maybe even 16 hours, maybe 12 hours, that will have finished the game and realize, wow, this is crap, and I wish I'd read a review about it. If you're a person that's on the fence about things, like, please stop pre-ordering things, because you're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get burnt. That is the thing about pre-ordering. I've pre-ordered The Division. I had know nothing about it. The release date I have is like completely, and I'm not changing the pre-order because I'm completely stoked about that game. And no matter what happens, I'm still gonna play through it because I got to find out. I have to do research on what the transition is like, and I'm sure a lot of other people are really hyped when they pre-order. And if you're the kind of person where someone else's opinion can sway you that easily, you shouldn't be pre-ordering in the first place.
Seriously.
Like, wait a day, 2 days, something. Wait for a sale or something. Please do not buy it day one and then blame, like, review embargoes all of a sudden, or blame the reviewers about how a certain company is completely anti-consumer. Because I don't see it. It's anti-consumer if they don't let any reviews come out whatsoever. Because I've seen that happen. I've seen a lot of publishers will flag inappropriate content on certain video reviews because a video game review was bad. And actually, Total Biscuit does that too. He shows a segment, how like a certain video was taken down. So like the new kind of arising theory regarding review embargoes, if Ubisoft wants to kind of stall time to push updates 1.1, 1.2, I'm coming from a developer perspective, and I understand that. People who pre-order the game, they're excited. They want to kind of get the game out as fast as they get the game as fast as they can. They're basically paying to be beta testers. That's basically what you're going to do. The people and they're hoping that maybe the updates will push and fix everything, but then they don't, and that's what happened with Unity. Sometimes day one patches doesn't cover everything. Sometimes things happen, bugs are more complicated than they are. Unity, I look at it as even though it's what's the word? Assassin's Creed has kind of been same thing over and over again up until Unity. And I say this because the combat is a lot more difficult than it used to be. There's actually multiplayer aspects that are much more meaningful. I played Black Flag before Unity came out, and it's don't play the multiplayer. Don't touch it. It's
good to know.
Don't do it. I didn't even know there was a multiplayer until Dominic brought it up. But it's
multiplayer. It just wasn't very good either.
But yeah, like they're actually making new ground. They're making co-op that's more interesting. It's depressing to me that innovative games are now being released as buggy, because they're trying to be more innovative than they are stable. So I mean, like, look at Far Cry 4. Nothing too innovative about that game. More or less the same, and it's good. Unity, innovative in its new game engine, innovative in its new cooperative opportunities. Yeah, of course, most of the gameplay. Let's just say it's. I see Unity as a much more as ironic as it is. I see it as a very big improvement from a technical standpoint, aside from its technical issues.
We'll find out.
If they
actually do anything with it.
Yeah, so that remains to be said. But I don't know. It kind of upsets me from all the things that I've been seeing regarding Unity, because there's a lot more to it than just the gameplay aspect of itself.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. You got burnt from $60. If you feel burnt, but you pre-ordered it, I don't get it. And if you were there midnight release, are you on your phone like checking reviews and saying like, oh man, this game's bad, I'm gonna go home now and not buy it? Like, if you're that kind of person, why are you there to begin with? Like, there's a bit of an inconsistency between the arguments. Like, I can see where it can be anti-consumer, but it's not a strong anti-consumer. And some people are saying like, let's boycott let's boycott Assassin's Creed, let's boycott Ubisoft. They screwed over the PC games. If you've ever played any Ubisoft PC game, you will know that they always are delayed 3 months after the console versions have released. 2 or 3 months ish, yeah. The fact that Unity came out the exact same day the Xbox One and PS4 came out, that for me is an improvement.
Fair enough.
And yes, I got ranty, but I'm quite upset, and I've been keeping this all in for the past 2 weeks.
That's totally reasonable, man. We get you.
Like it's upsetting, and I'm not defending Ubisoft in any way, shape, or form. No, they've done their share of wrong, but I'm also just, it's a bit of both. I'm disappointed in everybody. I'm also disappointed in the company.
Disappointed at the world at this point.
I'm very disappointed at the world. Like it's like it's gonna get to a point that all games are gonna lack innovation because it's the safe thing to do. And that's the one thing I'm worried about. And that's the thing I was going to be ranty about regarding StarCraft, but I can't anymore because Blizzard decided to become innovative.
You mean because they decided that, hey, this is worth it?
Yeah, and that's why. I mean, like, I hope they don't get burnt with Rainbow Six because that looks fantastic.
It does.
I hope they don't get burnt with The Division because that also looks fantastic.
For real.
Yeah, so, like, I really hope that we don't burn. I really hope Unity doesn't get so burnt that it's like, okay, we got to cut back on things like high risk things on The Division. We got to cut back high risk things on Rainbow Six.
No, they just have to make sure that their games work and that they're good.
And
like,
delay your game. If you know it's gonna be bad, we're going to wait. We're going to be patient. Especially me, who pre-orders everything without a release date. I will wait.
But them execs, though, that money, that console,
Ubisoft execs, if you actually watch this podcast, please delay your game if it's buggy. Unity is perfect evidence of this. Please.
I don't think it's gonna work, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna email this podcast link to Yves Guillemot and be like, please watch
something free advice. That's what we do, right?
I'm gonna give you $1 million idea.
No, it's much more than $1 million if executed correctly.
It's $1 million and $1.
It might make people like Ubisoft again.
Yeah, Ubisoft has not been. This year has been a terrible year for Ubisoft.
They've made it a terrible year, though. You make it sound like they're external circumstances.
Well, I'd say Watch Dogs, the external circumstances is more so. Actually, I can't explain it.
2012 E3 footage was gorgeous. The finished game looked like shit. What does that tell you?
It tells me that
they did not work on it properly.
I don't know.
No, actually, that's not true.
No?
The E3 footage. Are you talking about Watch Dogs, right?
Yeah.
The E3 footage of Watch Dogs was available on the PC version on launch.
Mm-hmm.
It's apparently someone found some settings that restricted the graphic settings,
Mm-hmm.
and once they I don't know, some variable or something or some setting.
Oh, I recall reading about this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like literally a settings called E3 or something.
Yeah.
And it unlocked, and you could play Watch Dogs with the same quality you saw at the E3 video on the E3 demo, whatever they showed. The water effects, the lighting effects, the explosions. It looks freaking amazing with once you change that variable so that I don't know why they turned it back. They toned it down.
They probably forgot.
No. I think the main reason what everyone was saying was they didn't want it to outshadow I'm talking about the PC version here, but they didn't want it to outshadow the console version because the console version could not handle the E3 graphics for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why they toned it back on the PC version, so it would align with the console version.
That's some bullshit right there, man.
I saw gameplay of the PC version without those settings. Oh my god.
No, I do know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
I remember vaguely reading about it. I don't own the game, so I don't obviously haven't tried it myself. But I remember reading about it. They should never have to do that. You should never gimp one of your games to make the other one sell well. If it's your main platform, then don't put it out for the other ones. Because all it got them was negative rep. For a bit, at least.
Yeah, I think after Unity, they actually said something about how they were going to rework how they release a game. They said something about along lines of restructure, like basically pushing for betas, trying to do. Yeah, they're changing their ways. Hopefully, it's basically it's funny because like all these companies are making these mistakes and all that stuff, and here's EA saying Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yeah, the game is great.
Tiny.
Yeah, it's so good.
Tiny.
I have some issues with it, but it's like it's what all the Dragon Age people have been waiting for.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually kind of confused because on Metacritic it's like the review score is like 87 and the user score is like 5.
I don't care about these. Some
So-
people cry a lot.
So someone should I get it or not?
I think you should.
Okay.
Have you played the previous two?
I finished 2. I didn't finish 1.
Oh,
It's a lot closer to 2 than 1 anyways, like gameplay wise.
Excellent.
okay.
Which is one of my problems with it.
I was gonna
Oh.
say because people didn't like two very much.
People,
I actually like 2.
a lot of people really
Well,
like
you didn't
it
play
too.
one.
Yeah,
Wait,
like
sorry. Dragon Age 2 was. What was it called? Was it just called Dragon Age 2?
Dragon Age
Yeah.
2.
Dragon Age 1 had DLC then. Okay, I'm confusing the names. Never mind. Yeah.
No,
Alright.
it's-
Oh.
So yeah,
I still need to play them.
so yeah, that's that I think that does about it. It's been a very painful past 2 weeks playing through all these games, releasing them. I mean, I'm so far behind. I recently just bought Shadows of Mordor. I'm gonna
Oh, you did?
I bought it.
Good stuff.
For the sake of this podcast, I bought it
Oh, you.
because I don't think I'd be doing it justice if it wasn't on my top 5 for the award show. Oh, and there goes Uraz.
I think he was like, screw this shit, I'm out.
Yeah, he's probably pretty tired.
No, that's okay. All
Yeah.
good. I'm
But
surprised you
anyways.
didn't just grab it from like Steam Family Sharing from Evan or something.
Yeah, I saw it on sale and I
Fair.
bought
Yeah.
it. So, Uraz left the party early, but
All good.
thank you for watching this far. Like, share, subscribe, and write angry comments about how Uraz left early without saying goodbye.
And if you don't mind Uraz, but you do mind Justin, write angry comments about how he rants more more than everyone else. That's Evan's job.
Yeah, I mean that I would have
I'm
loved to
kidding.
have a
Evan's
conversation
not
with
today.
Evan.
I know. I'm kidding.
I have to be
enjoyable.
the new Ev. I have to be Evan, but I won't be as good as Evan. Evan is he's played a lot more video games.
No, I enjoyed that.
He
It
makes
was- it
me
was-
feel like a casual.
You are a casual.
Nerdcast.
I'm a casual nerd. That's true. I like the thing is the only lore I have to show off is Halo. I know way too much about Halo. I don't know
That's
if you noticed. I'm a big fan of the sci-fi shooter. I don't know if you know or heard of it or anything. It's got like 4 or 5 games and stuff like that. So
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know. That sounds pretty underground.
I
Man.
hear the pinnacle of that series was Halo Wars.
Another
Everyone's waiting for a
example
sequel.
of a game where where you're one genre, do not shift to a different genre unless you do it properly.
Oh god. All right, let's get out of here.
All right, let's get out of here. Farewell.
Hope you guys enjoyed this. Bye.